That sound you just heard, deep, resonate, and windswept like the open steppe, is the voice of the Morin Khor, Mongolia's legendary horsehead fiddle. With only two strings, it carries the soul of the nomads, echoing galloping horses, ancient winds, and untold stories passed down through generations. Carved with the head of a horse and played with a bow of braided horsehair, this sacred instrument isn't just music. It's tradition passed down through generations. No wonder it's considered a symbol of the Mongolian nation. Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to O Folk, where folk tales breathe and traditions speak. This is Shilpa, and in today's episode, we travel to the vast grasslands of Mongolia, a land of fierce warriors, boundless skies, and stories that ride on the wind. So, get ready to follow the echoes of the steppe and travel to one of the most unique countries of the world, Mongolia. Between two giants, Russia to the north and China to the south, Mongolia is a vast, landlocked country in East and Central Asia. Mongolia is the world's largest landlocked country that doesn't touch any ocean and therefore lacks a coastline. Most of its area is covered by endless grassy steppes, dramatic mountain ranges to the north and west. On the southern part of the country lies the sixth largest desert of the world, the Gobi Desert. This country is not only vast, but also it faces wildly extreme weather conditions. In fact, this country has one of the harshest climates on Earth, swinging between scorching summers and bone-cracking winters. In winter, in fact, the temperatures can fall below -40 degrees Celsius. Mongolian winters are so fierce, they have a word for the deadly phenomenon where livestock freeze to death in massive numbers. It's called Zud. Due to harsh weather conditions, large portions of deserted, uninhabited land, availability of limited agricultural area, Mongolia is considered the least densely populated country in the world, with a population of just about 3.5 million people. It has a population density of only about 5 people per square mile. Due to all these reasons, nearly half of the population live in just one place, Ulaanbaatar, the nation's capital. Tucked in a valley surrounded by 4 mountains, this city is a striking mix of Soviet-era buildings, modern towers, and the iconic white felt gurs of nomadic families who have settled on its edges. A gur, or more commonly known to people as yurt, is a portable, circular and insulated tent traditionally used by nomadic families to live. It consists of a wooden frame that is covered with felt or skins, and often a layer of waterproof canvas for protection. But why do they have so many girls? That's because a significant part of the Mongolian population, roughly about 30 to 40%, are nomads. In fact, to understand Mongolia, their culture, it is important to understand the Mongolian nomads, one of the world's last remaining nomadic cultures. These families still live a very traditional life. They travel with their herds of horses, yaks, goats, sheep, and camels, and live in gurs. Life as a nomad is shaped by elements of nature: trees, grasslands, flowing rivers, and animals. They live in beautiful harmony with nature. Hospitality is very, very important to them. If you visit a nomadic gur, they will likely welcome you with salty milk tea or dried curds or even a bowl of warm mutton stew, all offered with heartfelt generosity. There's a lot of diversity among these nomadic tribes. They are different and distinct ethnic and regional groups. Among the largest are the Khalkha Mongols, who make up the majority of the population. On the other hand, in the high forested mountains of the north lives the Suttons or the Dukha tribe, primarily the reindeer herders. In fact, they are the last such living tribe of the world. They lead a very isolated life near the Siberian borders. To the west lives the Kazakh nomads, who are known for their eagle hunting traditions, where golden eagles are trained to hunt foxes and hares in the snowy Altai mountains. Another significant feature is that Kazakh nomad homes are decorated with brightly embroidered tapestries, and their music and language echo their Turkic heritage. Other groups include the Buryats, who share cultural ties with Siberian people, and the Dariganga, known for their finely decorated gurs and pastoral lifestyle in the southeast. These nomad communities are not relics of the past. They are the torchbearers of the deep and enduring tradition of Mongolia. And in fact, many of Mongolia's folktales, including the one you'll hear today, are born from their intimate relationship with nature. Mongolian folklore serves as the foundation for Mongolian literature, playing a never-diminishing role in the imaginative, artistic, and spiritual life of the people. Passed down like heirlooms through generations, these tales carry the core Mongolian values, preserve the nation's history, and make the country relevant to the world. Many of their tales feature animals with human traits like clever foxes, wise camels, or loyal horses. These have been tools to offer moral lessons about honesty, courage, and of course, humanity. Other common themes found in Mongolian folktales are shape-shifting spirits, tricksters, sky gods, often blending shamanic beliefs with Buddhist traditions. We talk about Mongolian folktales and not include the legacy of Genghis Khan. That's blasphemy. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin in the 12th century, possibly in the Henti province of Mongolia, particularly around the Barkhan Khaldun mountains. He rose from the harsh realities of the tribal warfare and abandonment to become the founder and the first great Han emperor of the Mongol Empire, the largest contiguous empire in the history stretching across Eurasia. His military prowess, organization skills, and political reforms left a lasting impact on the world history. He is renowned for uniting the different Mongol tribes and forming a single united force. To Mongolians, Genghis Khan is not just a historical conqueror. He is a cultural icon, a lawgiver, a mythical ancestor, and therefore his strong presence in the creases of the Mongolian folktale fabric is very, very obvious. Stories of his strategic brilliance, divine destiny, and deep bond with the land have been passed down for centuries, often blending fact and fiction. In some tales, he is the chosen one by the eternal blue sky, Tengri, to unify the Mongol tribes, while in others, he appears as a mystical warrior with prophetic dreams and supernatural strength. Some other folk legends speak of his magical horse that could fly, his ethical sense of justice, and his spiritual connection with the mountains and spirits. Certain tales are also about him and his divine connection to his birthplace, the Barkhan Khaldun mountain, which is also revered as the God Mountain. These are considered the most sacred mountains in the country and are deeply connected to the Mongolian national identity. Not all folktales are just about the wars he has fought or the vast stretch of lands he has conquered. Many, in fact, are otherwise. They carry echoes of his teachings about discipline, unity, and resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. Genghis Khan has been a strong pillar of Mongolian folktales over thousands of years now. While the spirit of Genghis Khan and the stories of nomadic tribes ride strong through Mongolia's folklore, these are just two of the many threads in a much older and deeper tapestry. Other than these, shamanism, animism, Tibetan Buddhism, and Central Asian mythological stories have also impacted Mongolian folktales. With the introduction of Tibetan Buddhism in the 16th century, Mongolian tales began to weave in Buddhist values like compassion, karma, and reincarnation, along with other elements. Trade routes like the Silk Road also brought in cross-cultural influences from Persia, China, and Russia, each leaving subtle imprints in language, symbolism, and plot lines in this nation's folktales. Epic tales like that of the famous Jangar, the loyal and brave ruler of the fairy Bamba kingdom, or Kaiser, the divine hero sent on earth to fight monsters and save humans, are also an integral part of Mongolian folktale tradition. They are recited in the form of epic poems and take days, sometimes even weeks, to recite in full. These long-form narratives were often performed by bards and storytellers who used rhythmic speech, music, and vivid gestures to bring each saga to life. In nomadic Mongolia, where written texts were very rare, oral storytelling became a portable form of education as well as entertainment, weaving together history, myth, and of course, daily life. While stories are important, equally important are the narrators and keepers of the stories, because they are the ones who keep these stories alive through generations. For Mongolian folktales, this mammoth task has been done through generations by oligarchins and tulchis. Oligar is a genre of folk narrative and mythic storytelling that has been passed down for centuries, especially among Eastern Mongols and Buryats. These tales are often chanted or sung by skilled oral storytellers called oligarchins. These performers memorize long stories, epic poems, folk tales, and other narratives using musical instruments like the morin khor and particularly the rhythm of their own voices. They often perform in various settings, from family gatherings to larger public spaces, ensuring the continuation of these cultural treasures. And then there are the Tuli, an oral tradition comprising Mongolia's great heroic epic poems, such as those of Khazar or Jangar. These are delivered by Tulchis, Tuli storytellers who act as poets, historians, and spiritual mediators all in one. In 2009, UNESCO inscribed Tuli as an item in need of urgent safeguarding on its intangible cultural heritage list. Storytellers like oligarchins and tulchis weren't just entertainers. They were cultural guardians, often believed to have spiritual power or divine inspiration. Some even claimed their tales were given to them in their dreams by their ancestors or spirits. The performances could last for hours or even days without a written script. Everything was stored in their memory, shaped by their breath, voice, and vision. When UNESCO recognized the Mongolian Tuli as an intangible cultural treasure, they weren't just honoring words. They were honoring a way of seeing the world, of remembering, of teaching through stories. And in that spirit, we continue the tradition of oral storytelling of lesser-known folktales here in this podcast. The tale that I'm about to share is one of Mongolia's most iconic myths, a story of cosmic imbalance, divine archery, and the fragile harmony between earth and sky. Many light years back, the world was, of course, a completely different place. According to Mongolian legends, the world at that time had not one, but 7 suns. Their combined heat was unbearable. The sun burned brightly all day, leaving the ground cracked, parched, and red. The drought caused plants to wither, rivers to dry up, and animals to start dying. Besides all these, there was severe effect on human lives as well. People were dying. They felt helpless and extremely upset. They thought very hard, but couldn't find any solution for a problem like this. This was such a crisis that no humans were able to resolve. After much contemplation and thoughts, someone in the community came up with a weird plan. They called the mightiest and most skilled archer of the community, Erki Mergen, the name which in itself means sharpshooter or precise archer. The heat is just getting too much for all of us to bear, the community's elders said. We need your assistance. Please shoot the 7 suns and cool down the earth, otherwise we will all perish. He pleaded. For his bravery and archery skills, Erki was a man full of self-pride. He got a bit too serious about this newly imposed responsibility and went out of his way to assure the villagers. Overconfident Erki said, "My dear villagers, I And respected elders, please don't worry. You have come to the right person to solve this problem. This is not too difficult for me. I will shoot all those 7 suns down with just 1 arrow each. Just 7 arrows will shoot down 7 mighty suns, and everything will be done in a day's work. Until here was still fine, but he did not stop at this. He stretched this a little too far and said that if he fails, he will cut off his own thumbs and live the rest of his life as a marmot, hiding in the earth, drinking muddy water and eating dry grass. And all this while, his faithful horse, Karsagai Alag, was standing by his side, prepared to carry out the orders from his master. Everyone greeted him and gave him a hero's farewell as he rode out on his horse, Karsagai Alag. He traveled to all directions, chasing the 7 suns as they moved westward across the horizon in the sky. One by one, he took down the suns. First, second, third, all bull's eye. He reached to the 6th and brought down even that one. The earth immediately started to cool down. Shadows returned and the rivers trickled back to life. People were immediately relieved. Villagers started celebrating as they saw the sky change from a dazzling fire to a beautiful deep blue. Now it was time for the final blow, the final 7th sun, the final arrow. He was ready and sharply aimed his arrow. The moment he released it, a swallow bird got in the way. Completely not the bird's fault, of course, but it was just that the bird and the bow crossed paths in the wrong time. Instead of the sun, Mergen's arrow hit the swallow's tail, and the tail got split into 2. According to Mongolian myths, this is the incident that made a swallow's tail forked and grow in 2 directions. And that's exactly how it is even to this date. Now coming back to the sun, by now the 7th sun was alerted by the whole incident. Frightened, it ran towards the western mountains to hide from Erki and his arrows. Mergen undoubtedly was very angry. So far, everything was going just perfect, exactly as he had planned, until the stupid bird came in his way, Mergen thought. Erki Mergen was filled with shame. Though the earth was saved, his promise was still unfulfilled. He still hadn't shot down the last sun. So he decided to chase the swallow to shoot it down. Even his horse, Karsagai Alag, got excited, and to show his support to his master, Alag told Mergen that if he is unable to help him in catching the bird, then Mergen can cut off his 4 legs and abandon him on the steppe. So Mergen and Alag started chasing the bird, which just flew in its own happiness and whim, cheerfully, not at all aware of what just happened. Alag and Mergen paced up, trying to catch it, but with no luck. No matter how fast they ran, they couldn't keep up with the bird's pace. And then dusk fell. Mergen was tired and furious. He was so angry that he went ahead and cut off the 4 legs of Alag just like he had urged his master to do. And legends say that's how the desert rodent Jerboa was born. A little mouse-faced creature with long hind legs, signifying horse legs, and tiny forelegs, forever bound to live in steppes and deserts. Poor Erki Mergen felt sad and humiliated. He couldn't fulfill his promise of shooting down all of the 7 suns. That's why, according to Mongolian legends, we have just 1 sun till date. And thank God for that. I wonder what humans and this world would have done without this one sun, right? By the way, remember what Morgan said to the villagers? That if he is unable to keep his promise, he would cut off his thumbs and become a marmot. Now that he had accepted his defeat, he went ahead and cut off his thumbs. He actually turned himself into a marmot as well. He was so ashamed of himself that he went to live in a dark hole so that no one could see him. For the rest of his life, he drank muddy water and ate dry grass. Marmots only have 4 claws, and legends say since Morgan had cut off his thumbs, marmots don't have a thumb either. Also, in Mongolia, certain body parts of marmot is not consumed because they believe those are parts of Erki Morgan's flesh. Mongolians also believe that Morgan still remembers his promise to shoot down the last shining sun. That's why every day in the morning and evening, he comes out of his burrow as a marmot and still continues to shoot down the one remaining sun. And the poor sun still tries to hide behind the western mountains in the evenings to save itself from Morgan. And that's why we have dusk and sunsets. And that's how we call a sunset on this episode. I truly hope you are enjoying O Folk as much as I enjoy exploring new cultures, discovering these fascinating folk tales, and of course, sharing them with you guys. If you have any feedback, thoughts, or even a story suggestion, I would love to hear from you. You can connect with O Folk on Facebook, Instagram, and X. Just search for us by the name O Folk. Most importantly, don't forget to listen to O Folk on Apple Podcast, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or pretty much anywhere you get your podcasts from. If you have been enjoying the journey, please share it with friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, anyone who loves a good story. Take care, stay curious, and join me next time for another story-rich, culture-packed episode of O Folk. Until then, here's wishing you good health and nothing but just good vibes. Take care.